First type of thing we're going to talk about is using just the simple calculator exercises. What I'm talking about here is just multiply, divide, add, subtract. No, but not all of BEDMAS, just multiply, divide, add, subtract. And then here we can have, that's just squaring something. So that's like doing, for example, section 3 is like how you would do 2 to the 4 on your calculator. The one that's the most interesting of the lot is the forward entry versus reverse entry calculators. For example, I may be mistaken, but I believe that the one that Norris has and similar people's calculator, that one's called a forward entry. I believe that Sheldon's will be reverse entry. That has to do with how you type squares, square roots, and trigonometric stuff. And then we have some trig. We're not, that's okay, Cosmo, you're not missing much. You just make sure you have your calculator handy, okay? Because you need the calculator for today. So if anybody else has a sharp calculator, you're in the same, there you go. See, Matthew and Sanjit can kind of team up there too. This course is not about trigonometry. The next course has a bunch of trigonometry in it, but this course, I'm just going to briefly show you how you can just access the trig functions. Honestly, it's going to be like this. I'm going to put a calculation on the screen. I'm going to say, everybody try it. And then basically, like, 9 out of 10 people for each calculation will be okay. And then maybe there's a couple people in the class that are like, well, how do I do it? And it won't be the same person every time. It'll be different people because all the calculators are all over the place. If you are using one of the recommended calculators, though, then it kind of goes by easier because the 991 Casio calculator is pretty easy to use. Down here, we're going to talk about negative numbers, just how do you enter negatives, and also root functions like the square root, the cube root, or any root. And then just some fun stuff at the end, harder questions. So supposedly, we're supposed to spend 3 hours on this. I honestly don't think it's going to take us 3 hours to do this lesson. So what I'm thinking is, let's go through this booklet. We're not going to rush it. We're just going to go through the booklet, see what happens. And if there's any time left over, for example, on Friday, let's say that we finish the booklet today. And believe me, it's not, yeah, today's class is 2 hours. Believe me, it looks like a lot, but it really isn't. If we finish the booklet a little bit early, then we can, on Friday, invest some of the time on extra help. So if anybody wants extra help from any of the units that we've done so far, you can bring up questions and we can try them together on Friday. Hi, Jacob. What's going on there? Okay. This week's assignment or last week's assignment? I mean, I honestly want you to figure out the assignment without too much support on my end. I do think the assignment is very doable. Like, I think that everybody, the assignment, hopefully, like, you didn't find it too nasty, the first one, the second one. It was pretty well done. It's pretty well done. I posted the solutions this morning. I had to wait because I had a technical issue with a couple of students, and I wanted to give them the opportunity to fix their technical issue. But anyway, I do plan to mark the assignments by the Monday, which is what I've been trying to stick to. It's just that because this assignment was really the first numerical assignment, there were a few technical things, students trying to type formulas on it, whatever. Honestly, for your assignments, if you feel compelled to type it, but you're having trouble putting in characters and symbols, you can write the assignment by hand. You don't have to type it, okay? But if you do type it, it looks great, and I appreciate your presentation, and it does show like really nice work and all that stuff. So I appreciate it both ways, so thank you. The solutions are available online for the second assignment. Generally speaking, it was done well. Do we submit a picture if by hand? Yeah, that's fine. Just make sure that it's that I can read it. Like, so what I mean is like, need handwriting or need enough handwriting, and make sure the picture has a decent resolution. So when I open it up on Blackboard, it doesn't look like a thumbnail. I want it like I sometimes someone might open a picture and it just looks like a little thumbnail, and I can't read the thing. But above all things, when you hand in your assignment, correct me if I'm wrong, when you hand in your assignments, you can double check what you handed in. Is this correct? When you upload the images, you can check the images to make sure they're cool? Good. That's very important. For an assignment, it might happen, it might just bad luck or whatever, but for the test, it's on Blackboard under your grades, Matthew, under the Grade Center on Blackboard. So for the tests, I mean, it's very, very, very urgent on a test that you upload the correct picture. Because imagine that you upload a picture and you're missing one of the questions. Then how do I find you on a tight timeline to make sure that you give me that picture? One last thing, I should mention it before we start. If not already, if you're not already aware of this, when you contact me, the most effective way to contact me, no, not much money. When you contact me, that is the best way to reach me. It's at my email. The reason is Blackboard email. When you send an email on Blackboard, or a message, I should say, I do not get any notifications to my George Brown email, which is my primary email. But if you email me on the George Brown email, which is the primary email, that's my professional email address, I see it right away. I mean, I have it on my phone, and I'm pretty good at responding to emails quickly. So anyway, just that one thing. If it's something that you need from me or whatever, that the email is the way to go. Okay, Blackboard email, basically, don't use it with me. You can use it, but I don't check it every like 5 minutes. That's all. Okay, so let's just make sure that we're good with calculator operations today. And like I said, we finish it a bit early. Anas, let's see here. Just a second. Yeah, that's the one. Thank you. Whoever typed that in, I didn't see. Thank you, Sanjit. I have it as a tab on my Google Chrome. Yeah. Also, if anybody doesn't know their George Brown email, you can always email me from your personal email address. Although that's not recommended, some students have emailed me from their personal email out of convenience or whatever. That's fine. I'm not. I don't recommend it with all your. I don't recommend it with any other professional interactions at the college. Like if you're talking to a guidance or administrators, things like that. Just that's not professional, obviously. But look, under pressure, we're in a math class. It's difficult as it is already to be online. So we gotta do what we gotta do. Munib, I think that what you can do is I'm not really sure what to tell you there. I mean, if I was a student, I would email my other email with my George Brown email. So like if I have a Gmail, I would email myself with my George Brown email to make sure it works, and then it should work with everybody. I mean, it's there's no the George Brown email doesn't have like prejudice against some other email addresses. It's an email, right? An email goes to email as long as the email is correct. Wow. Not a single calculation, and we're 15 minutes in. I'm sure people are falling asleep. So let's get on to the questions here. So I'm just gonna skip over to some of these exercises right here. So what I want to see I want to see that you can do these operations. Yeah, that's honestly, Munib, whenever I've had like, sometimes the network is down, whatever, there's maintenance. What I do is I just email my Gmail with my George Brown email. That way I don't bother anybody saying, hey, can you check your email if my email works or something? I just email myself with my other email. And then I email myself back. So it's kind of like I'm having a conversation with myself, which is really weird. Although smart people do that, I guess. I don't know. That's what people say, I guess. Okay. All right, here you go. What I want you to do is just grab your calculators and see if you can do 1 and 2. So this is going to be a very passive discussion on my part. You should be able to do all these questions on your calculator in blue. So while you're checking those, yeah, thank you, Sanjit. I was going to ask someone to type the answers in the chat. I'm going to go to the solution manual. I'm kind of being like a coach today, I guess. It says to round them to any rounding here? No. Yeah, so the question says 4 significant digits. 4 significant digits. So let's stick to that. So I'm really relying on your interaction with me here because, like I said, this is a bit of an awkward situation. So yeah, if you round it to 4 sig figs, what do you get, Sanjit? Correct. 1318. So let's go through all the blue ones and see how far we get with this thing. Anybody have number 2 in the chat? Is number 1 a... Oh, it's plus. It's plus. This is plus. Let me zoom in here. Sorry. Thank you, Nicholas. I'll do that with the other questions if I notice any like shady plus signs or whatever. If they're not looking too healthy there, I'll kind of fill them in. Yeah, I got the same. Thank you, Marco. Thank you, Sanjit. If I see someone new answer, I'm going to ask them to. I'll tell them thank you as well. So I'm not saying thank you to the same people all the time. Spread out the kindness. Sprinkle out the kindness a bit. Okay, let's keep on going here. How about this mess down here? Number 4. I'll upload this booklet at the end of class and basically just look through the booklet. This is what you should really do, is look through the booklet, and any question I've highlighted in blue is a good question for you to try on your own. And this is kind of just like practicing the calculator. It's going to make for a very interesting assignment, I guess. But I'll talk to you about the assignment, about what my thoughts are for the next assignment as we get closer to the end of class. Because the assignment I have in mind is going to be pretty straightforward, but possibly annoying to type on the calculator. Anyway, anybody have a number on number 4? Ooh, okay, so that is correct, Tamirlan. Yes, 357.6. I'm going to put that right here. So Tamirlan, did you hear that Kaprizov signed from the neighboring Russia? I don't know if you care or not. Sorry. I'm a big Kaprizov fan. That's why. Yeah. I have selfish reasons for it though. Anyway. Now, did anybody not get 357.6? So what the heck happened there? It's okay. It's okay. I type in caps a lot too. You got to put the bracket. So if the trick here is this, try to do these without like do it all in one step. But if anybody here has difficulty doing this in one step, what I recommend you do is just do the numerator. Just take the numerator only and then take the denominator only and then take those two things and divide them separately. Yeah, that's the answer, Matthew. Very nice. So anyway, hopefully, hopefully the people in the audience here are having some decent time trying to type this out. If any of you are having a challenge getting any of these answers, what are some ways to help you do this? Well, like this one here, if your calculator has brackets, if your calculator has bracket buttons, then you can use the bracket buttons to help you lay out the question better. And that goes, for example, what Sanjit was saying. So one of the calculators that is very good at typing these kinds of things, these kinds of expressions in, is the Casio FX calculator, and most of the Sharp ones as well. So Matthew, not all calculators have a bracket feature, but there are brackets on most calculators. So I'm just going to open up a new window. Just give me 1 second there. So Matthew, what kind of calculator do you have? Okay, you don't need a fraction button on your calculator. Yeah, you don't actually need a fraction button on your calculator to do this question. So what I'm saying is, you see these two bubbles here? So we have the top one and the bottom one. Nicholas, what's going on?
Sir, I just wanted to say to the guys that you don't necessarily have to do the top section and then the bottom section separately. You can simply do a double bracket at the beginning of entering the numbers there. So instead of one bracket before the 6.15, two brackets, and then a double bracket at the end of 123.45, and then enter in the second set of operations there, and you get your answer.
So, thank you, Nicholas. I like your style. This kind of reminds me of when you write programs. So I'm going to show you something. Actually, I was going to do this with you in class anyway, but I'm going to open up. I need to unshare my screen and then reshare it. So just bear with me for a second. So just bear with me for 1 second here. So this is I'm going to use Python here, which is a programming language. And exactly what Nicholas was saying, this thing here, this box here, it might be a little small to read, but hopefully you can see what I'm doing. I'm going to type out this question here in this platform. So first I'm going to type it out wrong. So this is not correct yet, okay? 6.15. I don't have a time symbol. I have a star, which is times on this computer. 8.78 squared times 123.45. This is going to be wrong, okay? So what I'm typing is incorrect right now. divide 9.30 times 704 times 2.5. Now, this answer I'm mentioning is, again, this is wrong. What am I missing here? Okay, I might not be able to do it on this computer. Yeah, Python doesn't use this button here. It uses 2 stars for an exponent. Anyway, so just look at that answer there, okay? You see how it says 110 or whatever? 110,000? I think that's what someone had in the chat. Is that, am I looking back here? See, Norris, see what you got? Okay, so the comment that Nicholas was making, so again, I'm sorry here, I have to use a double star here because I'm using a programming language. But what Nicholas is saying is this: you got to take a bracket around the entire thing for the first half, like that. Then you got to put a bracket around the entire thing for the second part, which is your overall denominator. So these brackets here, I'll spread them out so they're easier to read. And that's how you do that. If you want to type this in one step on your calculator, there's the answer, by the way, 357 and some decimals. So perhaps I can use this interface for some more questions. I do think I was going to experiment with this later in the booklet where I needed to do calculations with you if the questions get out of control. But anyway, whenever you have two brackets like this, or sorry, a fraction with really complicated expressions, on your calculator you can put empty brackets and then a divide. That means divide. That slash symbol is divide. And then empty brackets. And then whatever stuff you want to put in here, you fill in the template like that. Something as easy as 2 over 3, or something as nasty as what we just typed up there. Hopefully that helps everybody out, or helps most people out. If they have, the other ones already have figured it out, no problem. Okay, here's another one. Last one from this page. I hope that you don't mind the shaky ground that we're on with today's lesson in terms of interfacing technology and basic operations. So just make sure that you can get the right answers, and I think that's really what the big takeaway is from today's lesson. Because if you can get the correct answers, then our discussion is a big win. So anyway, in terms of putting up the Python file, Sanjit, that'd be pretty cool, actually. I mean, I could do that, but then I have to write a script. So what I'll do is I'll save this here. It's not even a file. I'm just kind of just doing like I'm just doing operations. It's interactive mode, so I'm not actually like, it's not a program. 6909. Where am I here? So this is 7. I don't think it's 6909. Let's double check here. These are plus signs, okay? Anybody else have a number? I mean, the answer's right there. I feel bad. The answer's right at the bottom of the page. Because the answer says it's 3.660. This is what the book says underneath. Yeah, that's the answer, Marco. You have to round up, I think, the 59 to a 60. I'm not saying that you're wrong. I'm just saying that's what I'm reading down here. I'm kind of cheating on that one. Thank you, Temerlan. Back in action. Here we go. So, anyway, that question there. Again, let's see how you could type it. Now, this is my low budget calculator. I don't have the physical one in front of me to show you. But if I was to do this question, I would start with an empty bracket, divide, and empty brackets. You don't have to put these spaces here. I put in the spaces so it's more visual. Now on the top, 43.86 plus 10.55 times 3.23. Now you might be wondering, will the calculator figure this out? Does the calculator understand how to do this? Like this numerator here, is the calculator smart enough? The answer is 3.660, Matthew. Is the calculator smart enough to figure out that you do addition after multiplication? And the answer is yes, because your calculator is programmed using BEDMAS. Most calculators are programmed with this type of interpretation where it just does BEDMAS, just like that. There are some strange implementations of calculators, but I don't think anybody here has that type of calculator, so we're not going to discuss. Autumn, 419 plus 6.22 times 2.75. And there you go, 3.6598. So what I was mentioning earlier is that you round up the 59 to a 60 because there's an 8 after it. Anybody have a Mac computer? Who has a Mac here? So most of you have this on your computer already.
Sir,
Yes.
so I did it exactly how you did it in Python, and I still got, well, actually, I got 1.659.6. I didn't get 3.660.
So you're trying to do it in Python too, for fun?
Sorry?
Did you say that you tried it on the computer like how I did it?
Yeah, I tried it in my calculator like how you put it in Python.
What kind of calculator?
Casio FX991MS.
Okay, so your calculator, I'm just double checking something. Does your calculator have a big fraction button on it? Does your calculator have one of these buttons on it? Big fraction like that?
So I'm looking.
Sorry, did you say yes or no?
No, I said I was looking. No, I don't see it.
Okay. Well, my first advice would be to just get the right answer, and this goes for I think Cosmo disappeared. Hopefully, he comes back. My first insight would be to just try the numerator and the denominator separately. Yeah, see if you get it that way. How do you get Python, Matthew? You can download Python for free for Windows, for Mac, or whatever. Oh yeah, Nicholas is talking about the fraction button. On your calculator, most calculators have a button that looks like this, A, B, C. That's your fraction button, so you could use that button. But if you can't find the fraction button, just use the divide symbol. So like you see, when I'm typing it on the computer, when I type in this slash here, like this, you can just type in this button on your calculator. So this is for like a computer. I'll just say here comp, and this is for your calculator because we don't have the same layout. Yeah. If I was saying earlier, if anybody has an Apple computer, you can Python is already on the computer. If you have Windows, you have to just click on the link that Sanjit put there. You can install it for free, and it's really good for doing lots of stuff later. Yeah, it comes on the Mac automatically. Python 2 is automatically on Mac. It's built in. Anyway, we should move on. Now, Cosimo, I don't know if you're there. I don't know because you stepped out of the room. Are you back, Cosimo? Because you were asking a question there, bud. Oh, there we go. Okay, so Cosimo, you're asking about the do these calculators have a history function? Not that I know of, Nicholas. Most calculators, what you can do though, some calculators have a command history. So if you press arrow up, if you do arrow up, you get previous commands. On most calculators that have that, if they have that cross, like a TV remote almost. Anyway, that was the worst of the questions. There's so many calculators, it has to have a cross on it. Must have a cross button formation. Oh yeah, so Cosimo, no worries, Cosimo. So what I was saying is for this computation here, not you specifically, but a few people are having challenge with it. If you get stuck on it, just do the numerator by itself, write the answer down, do the denominator by itself, write the answer down, and then divide the two answers. So that's my advice to you for sure, just to get the right answer. And then later what you can do is, let's say that the numerator here, I'll just color it in here. Let's say the numerator is yellow and the denominator is pink. If you want to type that on your calculator and you have brackets, you can type bracket, yellow, bracket, divide, bracket, pink, like that. That's how you can type it if you're getting stuck. That doesn't go for you only, Cosmo. There's a few people that are having a glitch there. And Sanjit very kindly mentioned that you can put brackets around the whole thing. Was it Sanjit or was it Nicholas? I apologize. That you can wrap it in brackets and then put a divide symbol in between. So give that a go for a second. And then from there we can move it along. Oh, thank you. Sanjit Ping, sorry, Norris.
I have a quick question. So I got the right answer, 3.660. So was my problem that I was doing the whole equation at first for like the earlier question that I had a problem with, or are you always supposed to do it in numerator divide by denominator?
Yeah, anytime you have a fraction with an expression like this is the layout that works every time. That's my suggestion there.
Okay.
That I don't know what happened on the previous one, but it has the same capacity. Like on that first question up top, this one here, sorry.
Yeah.
These brackets, you see all these little baby brackets here all over the place?
Mm-hmm.
They're useless. You don't need them. Why do you need to put a brackets around a number, right? That's kind of pointless. Even here, you don't need brackets on this one. So really they're a distraction. So sometimes when you're given operations to do, the brackets are redundant, and maybe that makes your life a little bit easier to process. Do we round the numbers? Sorry, go ahead.
So you're saying just put two brackets at the beginning of 6.15. Don't put any brackets at the end of 6.15. Don't put any brackets for 8.78.
For none of them.
Oh,
So if I go back here, this is the question that question, this one here. Can you see it
right.
on my screen?
Yeah.
All of these brackets are garbage. You don't need them.
I see.
Except this one here, not for you, but for me. Because I'm using a computer program, I have to put brackets on the square because it doesn't understand it otherwise. So you notice how I've thrown away a lot of the brackets, and it's going to still give you the right answer.
Okay. Sorry for so many questions. I was just
It's
trying
okay.
to.
You're doing everybody a favor here because there's a lot of people that are possibly not getting the answer perfectly, but maybe they don't know how to ask the question. So there you go. Same answer with less clutter. Okay, so I'm just gonna mention something here on page 7. Now this one here I'm skipping because not everybody has this on their calculator, and it's not really gonna change anybody's learning experience. Some calculators have memory buttons, so you can take a number and temporarily store it. Some calculators don't. So whether or not you are familiar with the memory feature on your calculator, it's really specific to your calculator and may not even exist on your calculator. So that's why it says here optional section. I say self-study because anytime I say self-study, it means that it doesn't, the section may not apply to everybody the same way or at all. And it's something that's not going to interfere with your being able to solve problems. So whether or not you know the memory function on the calculator, who cares? It's not going to change anything. As a case in point, I did all of my engineering undergrad, and I had a memory button on my calculator, but my calculator was so crap. We had to use the crappiest calculator because they didn't want us having special buttons on it, that I never bothered using in 4 years the memory button because I didn't bother like learning about it because it was such a piece of garbage calculator anyway. Which is why I recommend to you not to use that calculator, the one that I had. But back here, just a short one here. We're going to talk about this one here. So we're just talking about how you do something like the squared. So how do you do 4 squared on your calculator? Whoops. Or how do you do like 9 to the -3 or something? So how do you do these things on your calculator? That's what this little section is talking about. And there's just a couple of questions here toward the end for you to play with. So let's see if you can do 1, 4, and 6, okay? So first of all, I think this particular operation is pretty straightforward because you've probably had to use it several times already in this course. As you know, for your assignment last week, you had to find the surface area of a sphere, which was 4 pi r squared. So you've already proven to yourself and to me that you can use this button. So what I'm going to ask everybody to do, I want you to try number 4, and I want you to try number 6. So those are the 2 ones, okay? We're not going to leave this discussion until everybody's feeling good about 4 and 6. And I'll just write down the answers here. That's 930. The answers are at the bottom and they're upside down, so I'm just going to try to write them right side up. And while you're doing that, I'll do the Python commands above. The fun thing is that in this course, because I'm not really being strict about which calculator you use, for all I care, you could use Python to do your commands, to do your exercises. So there's the first one. Let me just space it out a little bit. That's number 4, and here's number 6. And for those students that are feeling very confident about this particular topic, maybe this is the challenge that you can do, is to try to get these commands written in a programming language like Python or whatever you have on your computer. Beautiful. Beautiful. So now that we're starting to get the hang of it, you might be wondering, what the heck could I ask you on an assignment, right? Like, what's he gonna do? He's gonna ask me to type stuff on my assignment? Here, sorry. For number 7, I got a different answer from from earlier. What did you get? Cosimo, what did you get? Okay, so my advice to you is just type out the numerator first. Just like, okay, my advice to you is just type the numerator only, write it down. Oh, which 7 then? I'm not sure. Okay. I got worried there for a second. I don't see a 7. Am I missing something? Okay. Thank you. I got a little bit worried for it. No, it's okay. It's okay. So my thoughts are, do you see how I have this thing here on my screen? So I'm going to show you how you would type it on your screen. But you know that my divide button and my square button are different than yours. What does your square button look like on your calculator? Is it a box? What does it look like? Is it a hat? How do you type squared on your calculator? Well, how do you type it? Do you have this symbol to do squared? It has the number 2. Okay. So what kind of calculator do you have? What kind of calculator do you have, Cosmo? We need to look at the calculator then. What's the name? I need the serial number, the code, whatever. Casio, Sharp. Matthew, that's okay for the email. Huria, we will cover that after. It's one of the other lessons. Sorry, Cosmo, do you have the serial number? Is it Sharp? What is it? Sharp what? It must have numbers on there. Like, is it what type of brand is it other than Sharp? Thank you. Which one does it look like? Is it this one? Third one on the top. Okay. This one here, right? Okay. This is a good one. So on your calculator, you have the brackets. So what you're going to type is type this part out here, the inside part, bracket 1 plus 726 divided by 343, bracket. Just type everything without the squared. Type everything without the squared. Are you there? Did you get that part? Okay. Now you should type this button here, x squared. Does it put a 2 beside it? And then just hit equals. Okay. So since we're here, to answer Huria's question for now, if you want to put anything other than a 2, like a 4 or whatever, it's this button here. If you have this type of calculator, it's the YX button. If you don't have this type of calculator, then there's a button on your calculator that probably looks like this. Matthew, the one on the screen here is Sharp Advanced Dial. I'll leave this screenshot. I'll leave this screenshot in the notes. So when I upload this to Blackboard, I'll just have it here. But I'm gonna just put this guy over here, and I'm gonna put down. I'm gonna get the recommended calculator for the course as well, because that's important. Just a second, people. I'm just doing something here on my computer. Getting this screenshot, so I can't see the chat momentarily. Oh, perfect. That's good news, Ria. Thank you. We're going to call today's lesson tech support. Okay, so I think we are going to take a break slowly here, but I'd like to do just one more thing here, because it's exactly what our friend Huria was mentioning here. See, look, calculating powers and exponents. So the question that was asked excellently earlier was this. Someone was asking, well, Huria was asking, as well as a couple other people, I think, at the beginning, how do I do 2 to the 5 on my calculator? So how do you do 2 to the 5? So everybody grab your calculator and do 2 to the 5. And what do you get? 32. Okay, so this is probably one of the shortest little skills to know how to do on your calculator. Perfect, perfect, perfect. So it's almost 10 o'clock. My goodness, we've been going at it for a while. Let's see here. Okay, here's some questions. Here's some questions to go for. So I would like you to try question number 1 first. Okay, so first one here. What is 7 to the 5? Big number. 116807. Perfect. I'll put a comma there. It's a big number. But now we're going to have a little bit of an issue. Not the one at the beginning. My apologies. I'm just following the crowd. I'm following the crowd. Thank you, Matthew. No, I am not the leader. I am the follower now. Anyway, what is 2 to the 25? Now you don't see me. I swear to you, I don't have my hands on a calculator, but I'm gonna say 2 to the 25 is like 35 million. Am I right? Was I close? I said 35 million. I'm just doing it in my head. I'm just guessing. Not bad, eh? You might be wondering how did I guess 35 million? But anyway, I have a knack for powers of 2. Like, that number is gigantic. 33, 554,432. Okay, so that one's done. Like, you don't have to do anything there. But what about this last one here? What about 7? Look at 7. 7 is messed up. Okay. So I'm going to make a note here. It says, if the number requires scientific notation, Oh my goodness. It says it right here that you might require scientific notation. So Nicholas, thank you. This question is gigantic. The number, this one is too large to fit on your calculator screen. So it's too large to fit on screen of calculator. Therefore, what is the power symbol again? Anas, there are different types of power symbol, but I'll show you briefly. It's the ones that I've highlighted here in yellow. So see if you can match one of those on your calculator. Do any of those match your calculator screen? Anas? Okay, so that's the button, okay? Pick the one that matches your calculator. Beautiful. So back here, this number is gigantic. So we have to go to scientific notation because the number is so large. And we're going to go, it says round to 3 decimal places. And therefore, Nicholas is good. Marco, I know that one became, that's a 0 there. You didn't want to write it because it was a 0 probably. But you got to write it. But your answer otherwise is looking pretty good. So 2.81 times 10 to the power of 16. But I should mention your, where did I get the 2.81? Uh-oh, hang on. I did this calculation here, Cosmo. I'm doing this one over here, number 7. I just couldn't fit it on the side of the page there. So when you type that on your calculator, you're going to get a gigantic number. Too big to fit on the screen. Okie dokie. So anyway, we're getting close to 10 o'clock. But why 10 to the? It's scientific notation. So in scientific notation, we need the 10 to the, do you see the 10 to the on your calculator? It should be like in small font possibly. If you look in the corner of the screen somewhere, you might see 10 to the 16 somehow. It should appear somewhere on your calculator screen. Any luck? Okay, cool. Yeah, it's already converted for you. Cool. Everybody, let's take a break. It's 10 o'clock. We'll take a break until 10:10. I'm just going to step away from the computer, so I'll be back in about 10 minutes. Thank you. So this number here will present, this calculation will present an error on most calculators because the calculator can only handle 100 digits. But as you notice in the chat there, Sanjit typed it out on Python and got this gigantic number. So I took your number from the chat. I'm gonna paste it in here. So thank you for that. And you can see here, this number is just way too large to fit on a calculator. So what the heck do you do? Well, in this question, I'm just asking you for an estimate. Specifically, I'll just say it in here. Let's provide with an estimate or evaluate and write in scientific notation because it's way too large. Now notice here that, okay, in the question they give you some hint about how to do that. But I don't want you to see the hint. I want to see what we can figure out together. So the hint here, if I show you the hint, then it becomes pretty easy to do. So any suggestions in the class here, or from the class, what we could do? So I see what Matthew has here. I don't have the answer in front of me. Yes, 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 yes. So you see what Matthew wrote there? I know it's hard to write it in the chat. So I'm going to take what Matthew said and I'm going to write it down on here. So before I answer this question, I'm just going to offer you a simple one. Does anybody remember this exponent law? If you have x to the 2 and then you raise it to the 4, what do you get? What does that equal? X to the what? So do you add them or do you multiply them? Yeah, you multiply them. That's right. So remember when you have it's a power to a power, so you would multiply. Well, that applies in general. This is just an example. But I'm going to use this example to figure out a way to do this one with you. And I'm actually going to follow Matthew's lead there. So instead of writing 3, oh, we're gonna figure that out in a second. Because right now you have an error on your calculator. There's a whole process to do this one. So we're going to do 3 to the 100 to the 5. So instead of answering this question, we're going to answer this question, because this question is a little bit easier to do on your calculator. So what I'm going to do now is grab my, I'm going to type it actually. It'll be easier if I type this for you. So what I want you to do on your calculator is do 3 to the 100. Just 3 to the 100. Do not type the 5 in. So what is 3 to the 100? Can you give me that with scientific notation? I'll get my calculator for this one as well. Yes? Thank you, Matthew, because you got to put the thing there, right? So I'm going to put a little bit extra there. 5.15378 times 10 to the 47. I put a little bit extra there, but it doesn't really change things too much. It's because this is not our final answer, so it makes sense to put a little bit extra. Now, the key to this question is to somehow get the 5 distributed over here. So we're going to do 5 times 47. And we're also going to do 5 times, oh, wait a second. What exponent is here? What exponent do we understand to be there? If there's no exponent, thank you, Matthew. We understand that there's a 1 there. Beautiful work, everybody. Thank you, Cosimo. So this is going to become 5.15378 to the power of 5 times 10 to the, and thank you for the 47 times 5, Matthew, which is 235. Okay, I think we're almost done. Where did the 47 come from? It's on, when you do this on your calculator, when you do this on your calculator, this is a gigantic number. And that number is right here. So when you look at your calculator screen, when you look at your calculator screen, you should include the 10 to the 47, because this 10 to the 47 is part of it. Trying to color it. Lots of delay here drawing this. Okay, that's the worst coloring job ever, but it's there. Now, we're almost done. Take this number here and type it on your calculator. So I can see there's some work. Yeah, Anas. So when your calculator, some people's calculators will write if they write E, so Anas's calculator says E47, it means 10 to the 47, okay? So if your calculator says E47, it means 10 to the 47. It means the same thing. That's right. E means 10 to the 47 as an exponent. Yeah, it's always going to be 10. So in this case, take this thing here, and can someone type that on their calculator? 4 significant digits, please. I think Matthew had it. Was it 3636? Can someone confirm? Thank you. Yeah, I'm going to skip the decimal. I'm going to skip the decimal, not because it's bad, but because the question says 4 sig figs. 4 significant digits. That's the only reason that I'm dropping the decimal there. We're almost done the question here, except that it's not proper scientific notation yet. So a little bit extra work here, and we're almost done. So I'm going to rewrite that first part as 3.636 times 10 to the 3, and then times 10 to the 235. So this thing here is not proper scientific notation. This thing is proper scientific notation. So we're just going to take that part in red there and convert it properly. And then we can count how many 10s we have. So how many 10s do we have in total? It's not 235. What is it? How many 10s do we have in total? 238. Thank you, Tamirlan. We are good to go. Look at that. Look at that. Whoops. If you're wondering, there's an incredible lag when I share the screen when I'm trying to type this stuff. So if you see me typing really slow, don't worry. It's not because I'm slow with the math. It's because it's like a really slow computer interface with Blackboard. Yeah, I think Sanjit, since we're talking about assignments, I do have the desire to put a question like this on the assignment at some point. Okay, so be prepared for a question of this type. Yeah, because look, what am I going to ask you on the assignment, right? Like I need something of substance that is beyond just doing an exponent law or something. So anyway, yeah, definitely. So anyway, it's a nice question. I haven't written your next assignment. To be honest with everybody, I don't like to create the assignment until after we're done our class on Friday. So we finish our class on Friday, and then I like to spend Friday and Saturday just kind of chilling, thinking about, what we did during the week and what would be good to put on an assignment. So Sunday, I write the assignment because then I take into consideration, what your experience has been so that I can make the assignment more meaningful to you and to me. So we're off to another section here. And this section, again, is another situation that is calculator specific. I do think that this section, because you've gone through and done so much work already with your calculator, you already have an understanding of how your calculator interprets numbers. So some people's calculators have forward and some people's calculators have reverse entry, meaning that you have to type in the operation before the number or the number before the operation. So for this reason, it's a self-study. For me, I would call it a self-study type topic, meaning that if you were good up to this point, you don't need to do this section. That's what I'm trying to say. So if you were good up to this point, then this section is really just getting more technical about something that you're already good at. So that's kind of silly. Silly for me to repeat something that you've already proven yourself. Okay, so we have the trig functions on your calculator now. We have sine, cos, and tan. So I'm going to make a note here. Trigonometry. Oops, what happened there? Is in the next course. Here, you just need to know how to use the buttons. That's all I'm asking for this course. I'm not asking you to do trigonometry. I'm not asking you to analyze anything or create anything. I'm not trying to mess up anybody's day, okay? So just for this course, I just want you to know how to type some stuff on your calculator involving trigonometry, but not to do any analysis. So you're not going to see any diagrams with angles or anything like that. That's next course. And if you have me next course, if I'm teaching that course, I haven't gotten my schedule yet, but there's a small chance, I'd say about 50% chance that I teach that course. So if you're not sick of me by December, you can have me again in January. Or it can look for me in January because there's going to be about like 5 or 10 professors. And maybe I believe if we're lucky, we'll be in person. So at least then, if you don't like how I teach, you can throw stuff at me. Of course, I'll dodge it, but that's okay. So all jokes aside, grab your calculator, and I just want you to be able to type a couple things here. Just these ones here, okay? I want you to be able to do 1, 2, 3. Make sure that you get those answers. Don't worry about 7 and 8. Don't worry about 9. Forget about 9. Do not worry about 9. So grab your calculator and see if you can get this number here. If you don't get that number, it doesn't mean that you don't know what you're doing. It means that your calculator is in a different setting. Matthew got 0.92. Did you get 0.92? Slightly different. Okay, so nothing's wrong with you, Matthew, but your calculator is probably in a different angle setting. Check on your screen if it says degrees, rad, or grad. Can you check on your screen somewhere, Matthew, if it says degrees, rad, or grad, or maybe it says DR or G? Yeah, so that's grad. You don't want grad. You want deg or D. You do not want to have grad. Grad is different. So you know how a revolution is 360 degrees? A revolution in gradients, or what grad stands for, is 400. It's out of 400, so it's kind of weird. So there is a way to change your calculator setting to degrees. I'll just say that since this course is not a trigonometry course, it's not going to affect you for this course, but you need to get your settings. Okay, so what calculator do you have? Which calculator do you have? Okay, let me Google it. Hang on a second. I'm opening up a new window. This one here? Is this the one? Thank you, Sanjit. Second function. There we go. I think it's right here. See DRG? You see DRG right there, Matthew? Okay, hit second function, DRG, and then you should be able to change it there. Just a second, everybody. So did that sort out? Okay, good. Thank you, Matthew. Sorry about that. I had to do a little bit of a software thing on my computer. It was glitching for a second. I'm gonna go back here. I think Nicholas had a question. There you go, Nicholas. Hang on there. There you go. Yeah, the reason you get a math error, Norris, is because it's too big for your calculator. It's too big for your calculator.
Sir, can I confirm something with you really quickly?
Yes, go ahead, Norris.
So say I wanted to do 5 times 5 times 5, I would put 5, the upward arrow 3.
Yeah, yeah,
Okay.
exactly. All right, everybody, can I switch back to that question? Okay. So that was a bit of a marathon there with the trigonometry. Hopefully you sorted it out and it wasn't too stressful. But in any case, I do think that we need to move on. I'm looking at the course outline, and we're just going to do one more little topic on negative numbers, and I think that'll be it for today's class. So let's take a look here. Negative numbers on the calculator. So this is something that most people will say, yeah, I know how to do it, but then they get in a situation where they're trying to type a negative number and it just kind of doesn't make any sense. So anyway, all that aside there, I'd like you to take a moment and see if you can do A and C. So just grab your calculators. I know this is probably like really tedious for some people, but let's see if you can get through that A and C there. Let me know in the chat if you got them both right. Oh, okay. I think Cameron, it's plus, eh? Sorry, that's a plus sign, Cameron. Sorry. Let me fix that for you. I think Cameron wrote it as a divide. Not a big deal. No problem. That's what I'm here for. I'm here for quality control, not for your quality control, for my quality control. Anyway. Negative 26, that's a good answer. Very nice, Norris. So if anybody is having issue here, it could be possibly how you enter in the negative number. So some calculators are really easy because they have a negative number on the screen somewhere, but some calculators have a button that's called plus minus. So anyway, things looking up and up here. I see Marco's got that number just peachy, very nice on the screen there. So that's good news. Here's some other nasty ones here at the end. So let's see if we can get these ones done. Scroll it down here. Why don't you try J? H and J here, sorry. Try these ones here. Sorry, C was negative 43. Thank you, Nicholas. I just had to reshare my camera for a second. No, C was 76554. Yeah. Sorry. Sorry, to answer the question, Norris, yeah, it was 7.67. Nicely done. I'm seeing some negative 11s there. Nicely done. Negative 178. For which question, Marco? I think, Marco, which question is it? Are you talking about H or J? Okay, let me try J with you. I'm going to use my keyboard thingy here. I think I'm not really sure what to tell you on that one. I wish you had spaces on your keyboard on your calculator. My best advice would be to just make sure you count all the brackets. Are you using brackets, Marco? Are you using brackets? Yeah. So let's type it. Let's try typing it together, okay? So if I say left bracket, that's left bracket, and if I say right bracket, that's right bracket, or open and close bracket. So just read it with me. Let's try this. Anybody else in the class that's having trouble doing this one? Open bracket again, negative, etc. That's it. You got it, Matthew. You're good. You're good. You're good. You're good. Just counting brackets, my friend, right? That's what we do on Wednesdays. We count brackets. Anyway, it's getting close to the end of the lesson. The lesson ends at 10:50. How do you put double bracket? I think you have that button on your calculator, right? You know, you can just type it yourself in there, right? Yeah, that's it. Just do a double bracket. Just type it twice. So your calculator was here, right? So just type the bracket here twice. Just that when I say open bracket, yeah. Yeah. When it comes to the rounding, I didn't read the question for its instruction there, so let's take a look. 3 sig figs, okay, Sanjit? 3 sig figs. If necessary. Yeah, all good. Yeah, it's funny because each page has a different tolerance, but as you've seen with the assignments, I don't give you like 10 questions and then you have to read about accuracy somewhere else. Every question that you'll get on an assignment or a test, the question itself tells you exactly how I want the answer. So the good news is that you're making sure here, and it's great, but you don't have to worry as much when you're doing my tests. So that's good too. So at this point, we're gonna stop the lesson in terms of the old material, the notes and such, because some students had emailed me and just said, you know, I have some questions about some stuff. I was having trouble getting a question right or whatever. So I'm gonna give you guys 10 minutes now, or 10 minutes or so, and you can ask me questions about topics, anything that we've done up to this point that you might have had trouble. A couple students emailed me about unit conversions and things like that. So if anybody here is, you know, has questions about that kind of stuff, please feel free to use this time with me to do that. So for those of you that are good with the lesson today, you're free to go. And if you want to stick around for questions and extra help, you got 10 minutes with me to ask some questions. So thank you.